Welcome to The Centurion's Path, a podcast about the life and the trials and tribulations of those who serve. This podcast is about the heroes who protect our communities. To truly understand the path of the protector, tune in with AJ D'Andrea and John McDonald, two nationally known leaders who live the Centurion's Path every day.
Thank you all for joining us today. To our sponsor for today's podcast, Safe Haven Defense, preserving property, protecting lives, providing peace of mind. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to next episode of Centurion's Path podcast with AJ D'Andrea. And myself, we're excited to be here. We've got Mark Deeds with us. Now, Mark has failed at retirement twice now. And
the common theme at this stage.
I'm a good company.
I'd like to know how you can fail twice. What's up with that?
Well, I met this guy named John McDonald a couple of years ago. And just when I thought I'd retired for the second time, he drugged me out of retirement again. And here I am.
Here you are.
Here I am.
Talk to us about your career, what you've done, because it's a pretty fascinating career.
Oh, gosh. Well, I'm an old guy. I started my career back in 1985 with the sheriff's office in Southwest Missouri. In 1989, I went over to a municipal police department and had a very blessed career in the area of patrol, investigations, special investigations, narcotics. Served on an ATF task force, DEA task force, and FBI task force, Joint Terrorism Task Force after 9/11. Last 4 years I was there, worked an assignment, crimes against persons, but in that assignment I had crimes against children. So I developed a passion for keeping kids safe, vulnerable victims, protecting those who couldn't protect themselves. I retired in 2011. I still had a little gas in the gas tank, so I took some of my expertise to the schools and became a school resource officer, and not long after that was promoted to the director of school police at a department in Southwest Missouri, or school district in Southwest Missouri. And finally, this past July, after 38 and a half years of policing, I decided to call it quits until you called me.
Right.
And so now
It's hard to say no to this. I'll tell you.
AJ. So anyway, I brought that skill set to this position with Center for Education Safety, and hopefully I can apply a little bit of my skill set and knowledge in this arena now.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. And one of the reasons I reached out to you is that we lose institutional knowledge when great people move on, and then as AJ said, then we're learning the lessons of the past all over again by failure after failure after failure. So we can keep the institutional long enough to keep training the next generation and help them become better, then I think we're a better community, we're safer schools, and you just can't let good people go. So we dragged you back. And here you are on the Centurion's Path podcast joining us. So we had a great dinner last night.
Yes, we
It
did.
was awesome.
It was really a good conversation. And we keep trying to get away from our mental health conversation, but you brought up something that you're doing that is, to me, incredibly important. And I want to talk to you about it. But I was not familiar with peer support programs until AJ introduced me to the concept. And that's something that you implemented in your previous agency.
Well, I didn't implement it. It was long standing.
Okay.
I don't know if I made it better or made it worse. I guess it just depends. But what I implemented was that reintegration program.
Gotcha.
Right, which is bringing someone back after a critical incident. But part of that contains peer support and how we're dealing with officers that go through a critical incident and having that peer there to be able to lean on and speak to with confidentiality and that type of stuff. So,
And you introduced us to an organic program that started with a conversation at lunch that you had.
and this is pretty amazing. So
Yeah,
tell our listeners kind of what you got going on and what you're doing.
For the longest time, I think we're all guilty of this. You don't ever recognize or notice the traumas that you've experienced or gone through. And so it took me a long time to be able to wrap my head around dealing with my own traumas. I mean, we're all good about fixing everybody else's problems, right? But how do we fix our own?
Right.
And it's no secret in this line of work. If you've done it for any time at all, you see and experience hundreds of critical incidents and traumas, but we don't always deal with them. But a couple of years ago, I was having lunch one day with a very good friend of mine from the police department and my pastor. And this friend of mine had been medically retired after a horrible, horrible incident. He had been targeted at the police department. Guy was in the parking lot driving erratically. My friend came out to confront him and see what the problem was. And he punched it, accelerated, and ultimately pinned my friend up against the building and almost killed him. But anyway, we're having lunch one day a couple of years ago, it was this month, and just out of casual conversation, he says, Deeds, he goes, man, you're the only guy that ever checks on me. And I said, well, what do you mean? He said, you're the only guy that ever calls me or checks on me. He goes, I just don't hear from anybody. And he'd been retired about probably a year and a half. And that just hit me. And I said, and I'm not going to mention names due to confidentiality.
Yeah, totally.
I said, you can't be that only guy. You can't be the only guy that's experiencing this, that separation. It's one thing when you retire on your own terms, but when you're pushed out medically or you're injured on the job and you're just forced out, it's not good either. But so anyway, I said, man, I can think of about 5 or 6 guys who have been injured on the job, whether they're shot or ran over in the line of duty, that I don't ever keep in contact with. And I said, why don't we get together for a coffee or something and just talk and check on each other? And so we had this idea that we'd reach out to these 6 guys, and the pastor said, hey, we could do this at church. And I go, gosh, I don't know. A lot of cops just aren't churchy, may not come, kind of protective, standoffish. Well, anyway, we reach out to a handful of guys, and they all showed up. And so we began this conversation, just checking on each other. How are you? And we started talking. The first meeting lasted like 2 hours. And we got guys in there that are talking about drinking problems, self-medicating. One guy says, I drink 2 handles of tequila a day. Another guy said, my wife's getting ready to leave me. Another guy said, I've sucked my gun. I just haven't had the nerve to pull the trigger. And I'm like, man, these issues are real. And the shit got real really quick. And so out of that 6, we talked. I said, man, who else can we invite? And go around the room, and they go, hey, what about this guy or this gal? Because we have female participants in our group also that are on the job. And so next meeting, we had about 14 people there. Well, fast forward to today, again, 2 years since the inception, we've got about 32 people in our groups. It's made up of first responders. And it's a peer support group. And we say 2 things in this group. Number one, we're not clinicians. We're just a bunch of first responders who experience trauma, but it's confidential.
Right.
Because we all know the stigma that's, that comes with asking for help, or if you're weak, you're perceived as weak. And so we've done a really, really good job of keeping this group confidential. And we communicate through an app, and guys get on there and share jokes or check on each other. And it's really been fulfilling. I think for a lot of these folks, it's been a sense of healing. We've had guys in this group and gals that said, I get more out of this group than when I went to see a therapist. Because you go see a shrink after you're involved in a critical incident. And what do they say? Hey, you doing okay? How are you? Oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. We're all good. Oh, everybody's good. So we go about our day. Well, the truth of the matter is we're really not good.
Right. We're good at masking it.
We're good at masking it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we don't talk to anybody else but other cops. And that's usually not in a setting like that. We usually end up at the bar drinking beer and eating chicken wings, talking about that last critical incident we handled or how good we used to be.
Right.
And so in this group, it's developed a brotherhood. It's the guy who was drinking 2 handles a day quit drinking. the guy who was going through a marriage crisis has patched it up with his wife and is back home.
It's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, it is powerful.
Yeah.
And, I don't take away from the fact that it's in a church. Our pastor helps facilitate it.
Right.
These guys come in, they feel safe. Guys and gals alike, we cry together, we pray together, they drop F-bombs, and it's okay.
Yeah.
But it's been a really, really unique experience.
Good for you. I'm
Yeah,
proud
I
of
mean,
you.
it's
How often are you guys meeting?
once a month.
Once a month, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And, one guy was gracious and donated a flat top griddle so we could cook breakfast.
Nice.
So we always have coffee and donuts, right?
Right.
But,
Right.
but we've cooked breakfast. We're going to have a catered. We got a meeting coming up shortly. We're going to have a catered breakfast, and along with that, it's spun off into spouses. So now
Wow.
the spouses have a support group
Nice.
Oh, gee.
because we all know
There you go.
we take our problems home,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And we don't know it, and they suffer from secondary trauma from us.
Sure.
Yeah.
No
Wow.
question.
That's pretty amazing. That's powerful.
Well, thank you,
I'm proud of you for that.
thank you.
It is a forgotten group, right?
Yeah.
And part of it, you get it, right? Because the machine's got to keep moving,
Yeah.
right? The machine's got to keep moving. You walk away, they're going still crisis to crisis, doing their thing. And the retirees, especially those maybe that are suffering, whatever it may be, right, kind of become a forgotten beast. And so it's pretty cool what you're actually doing. And
Thank
you
you.
know,
Let's take a break for a minute.
yeah.
Safe Haven Defense, preserving property, protecting lives, providing peace of mind.
Yeah, well, I'm excited about working with you because I think one of the things that you really add to the work that we're doing on the school level is just an openness about the importance of building relationships.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've seen that time and time again with you. You're the perfect ambassador for us in this state to really help connect the educational side, the business side, the law enforcement piece. Those relationships, not everybody can build them.
Yeah.
It takes a special skill set. We all know it.
And what has John got you doing now? I mean, what is your kind of day to day? What's he got you doing?
Well, he's got me on a
mean,
podcast
yeah,
today.
Yeah.
Like for me, when I'm in town, all I do is carry his bag,
Right.
right? And
I think the idea is probably going to be what he just said, communicating. I've been very lucky and fortunate, blessed in my career that I know a lot of people in this state.
right,
I actually worked away from my department more than I was ever there, so I've made a lot of contacts. I know a lot of people in the educational field, and I'm just going to kind of fill in the blanks wherever I need to. If that means carrying his bags, I'll do that. But
we'll get used to it.
one of he and I bounced some ideas off of each other, and I've been coming to these conferences for a long time and been to a lot of law enforcement conferences, and I see in this field a lot of work that has been done. But this morning and listening to your presentation, AJ, I see the need to continue this work and the need to continue the legacy of school safety and what we're trying to do, and certainly the implementation and opening of the new training center. So I'm really excited. Whatever is in store for me, I'm excited to be a part of. And I look at these educators in that room this morning, and what you did was really bring them into our world of law enforcement. And I think that's one of the key pieces is the communication piece to ensure that those administrators, those building principals, those superintendents, board members, that they have a true understanding of the reasoning behind our madness,
Right.
of what we're preaching.
Right.
And you preached it this morning. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was the gospel according to AJ.
Yeah. And you had me
That's
on
a
the
scary
edge of my
thing.
seat. You had me on the edge of on my seat.
Preach on, brother. Preach
That's
on.
right. Bring it.
Well, that's why conferences like this are just so powerful, right? Because you get so many diverse work groups.
Yeah.
And for those that, I got bombarded with questions at the end when I was packing up of how do we enhance those relationships with the working groups from, the school boards to the principals to the superintendents to law enforcement to fire, EMS. And it sounds like you're in a perfect spot to create some of those
I hope so.
relationships
Yeah.
and push forward. Because those are the things that are critical, right? Those are critical. And the power of a conference like this to bring all these people in the same room. Because usually we go to a conference and it's just law enforcement,
Right.
or it's just educators, or it's just, fire, EMS, whatever it is. And so that's why this one I think is such a powerful get together.
I had a conversation after you spoke this morning with a couple of ladies in education, and one is a former principal, now a board member at a school, a large school district in Missouri. And I said, it's my opinion that every board member, educator, building principal should hear your presentation about this, what you just spoke about this morning. And she absolutely agreed 100%, because we've have experienced these incidents, these critical incidents, and been around school safety and school shootings and school violence. But when you try to talk to an educator that's not really walked in our boots, it's hard for them to grasp that. And so what you brought today was perfect. And I saw lots of jaws on the ground. I saw some teary eyes. I saw some heads shaking like it's horrible, But I think the message is very clear:
Yeah.
is communications. Don't ever get the idea that it's not going to happen here.
Right.
Don't become complacent.
Yep.
And so to wrap that up, I said all that to say this: I want to spread that message.
Well, and for me, one of the reasons that I wanted Mark to come on this team, in Colorado, where I spent my entire career, I had a great network. I knew everybody
Right.
in the state. I could pick up the phone and, call everybody. I moved here, I knew nobody. And
Boy, that's changed.
man, building a network is really tough.
It is.
And
It's exhausting.
it's exhausting. And, at my advanced age now, I didn't grow up with these people like I did in Colorado, and all those chiefs and commanders and captains. I started in college with them and knew them. And so you had those relationships, and here I don't, but Mark does.
Yeah.
So if I don't, he does. If I need access to someone, he knows how to get that
Right.
conversation started. And to me, it's incredibly valuable. You can't buy that. You got to earn that. And you earn that by building trust, and you earn that by a lifetime of work and 38 and a half years in law enforcement. What the hell were you thinking? That's a long time.
That's a long time.
Jeez. So, just absolutely excited to.
Did I say I was 14 when I started?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Started when I was still in high school. I want to say, right? Yeah.
I know. I was thinking that too. I was a junior in high school,
Yeah.
I think.
Me too.
Yeah.
I would have conversations with the teachers and principals and even one of my staff members. When did you start? 1985. Well, I was 3 years old then.
Or I wasn't born yet.
Yeah, I wasn't born yet.
A lot of teachers are in that boat today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. We were hiring people that weren't born when I started in the job,
Yeah.
right? So let's see. Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
look back.
We're the old guard. For
I
sure.
look back and I remember, how fast I was, full head of hair. I remember, how aggressive I was. I'm like, like my old dog now. I'll get up
Got
and
your
bite.
old dog on
I'll
the
get
couch
up-
with one leg off.
I'll get up and bite if
Picture
I
you
need
show
to, but I don't feel the need to do it much anymore.
I was so fast, my hair all blew off.
All right,
Yeah.
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good. There you go. I'm still holding on to mine.
Right.
Keep it.
Oh
right.
man. Well,
Well, you got exciting things coming, right?
We do.
You've got a rendering of the training center, from what I understand.
yep, we are building the nation's first comprehensive school safety training center here in Missouri now. I built, with your help, the first training center, school safety training center in the country, the DeAngelis Center. And I took those concepts and we put it on steroids, and we're doing stuff that has never been done before. We're grateful to the state, to the Missouri School Board Association that's matched that funding. Now we're doing a capital fundraising campaign, which I'm not good at, but thankfully we have top talent,
Powerful people. do
powerful
that,
people that are doing that
Yes.
for us, and an exciting opportunity for us to create a program here that will be a national first. I tell everybody, show me safer schools, you know, is coming.
Yes.
And we're really thrilled about what that's going to be. And we've got corporate partners, which are amazing. T-Mobile has stepped up in an incredible way. CDW has stepped up. GoSafe has stepped up. We've got corporate partners saying, we believe in your mission. We want to help and support you. And it's humbling. It's an honor. But we will be doing some big introduction of what we've got coming in just next month or so as we launch our marketing campaign for this. And of course, I'll be, learning how to fundraise. I don't do a very good job asking for money.
You and I both.
It's just not the world that we're used to. But I know those that can and do, and they'll get us there. So yeah, we're pretty thrilled, and we've got a couple more conferences. We're going to be continuing this Show Me Safer Schools conference program over the next year. You're coming back in March twice.
Yes.
So you're coming to
Back.
Springfield to teach Evacuate, Evade, Defend,
Going to be teaching Evacuate, Evade, Defend. Yeah.
and it's to train the trainer. I
That's
think we're
train
doing.
the trainer. Yeah.
And then I'm bringing you back to do Rescue Task Force
Mm-hmm.
and another community, and so we're excited.
Yeah,
it's
March is going to be a busy month.
going to be a busy month.
Yes.
So we'll
Looking
get
forward to it.
you get tired of seeing me after
In a good way, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a good way. In a
Right?
good way. I'm never tired of seeing you. know
Yeah.
that. Yeah. No, it's always good to come into Missouri. I always enjoy it.
Except it's 19 degrees here today,
Well, it's all right.
and yeah,
And it's humid.
It's
So
humid,
that's what sucks.
right?
Right? It's,
Yeah.
it's the humidity.
Yeah.
Right? People don't understand that. Go to Colorado when it's 19, you walk
Yeah.
around in shorts. Come
Yeah.
here and it's 19, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to die.
yeah, exactly.
Right?
What's great having you here, Mark. Really appreciate.
Thank you, guys.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see how you contribute going forward, and
Thank
I'm very excited for the opportunity to work on the peripheral, right, and
Right.
and do some things together.
Yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely. I look forward to that.
yeah, very much.
AJ, take us out.
All right, here we go. Our famous toast, right? To us and those like us, the Centurions. Damn few left.
Damn few left.
Good order.